is you interlock the two.
Now stretch them quite as...
Soccer. And the...
Quiet, please. In exactly 15 seconds, we'll be on the air.
I felt like a reptile. I felt like a reptile.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm going to start. I
it's not
start,
gonna
the
be a
podcast,
secret
I start
much
every
longer.
podcast with that question. Are we recording? I realise it's now starting to become a theme. Pacino with us this week. Excellent. Good to have you with us, man.
It's good to be here, mate. Thank
Right.
you. Thanks for the invite.
We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. But first of all, how are you? I mean, you had a fight organised. You got some bad news. The fight was cancelled. To quickly summarise, go on, you expand on that.
Basically, I did a scan in 2017 when I fought for EFC. That basically just obviously fought through there. Then signed to Bellator, got me first fight lined up and stuff like that, and then they asked us for a scan. So I give them that review from 2017. They said, "Oh, that's in date, that's fine, you can fight, no bother." So left there, got me next fight lined up against James Gallagher. It was in Ireland, so had to do a scan again for that. I don't know if it's mandatory every time you fight in Ireland, you've got to do one. So I did it. I did the scan anyway, and then it was about a week after I get a phone call from CFMMA basically saying that my brain scans had flagged up, and I needed to get an assessment from a neurologist that would give us a clearance letter. So obviously I got that. Contacted a neurologist in London, got trained, went down there for that, did that, and he said straight away, he was like, looking at the last review previous from the only other scan I'd had to now, he's saying basically you've got really bad deterioration in your brain. It's the start of brain illness, this, that, and the other. Using Muhammad Ali's reference, saying this is what's in store for you, if the kind of thing. So he's saying basically he was saying don't worry about even having this fight. He's saying I would never even get punched again if I was you. He's saying I would strongly advise you not. Saying you've got 3 bad spots of damage on the right side, you've got a gap in the frontal lobe that wasn't there before, so obviously not knowing what's happening. So I'm saying, look, well, I'm not going to take any more damage till the fight now. It's pretty much close to the fight. Can I not just get signed off for this one? He's like, there's no doctor who will literally look at this and let you fight. It's
just one more.
Yeah, it's just absolutely killed it. So anyway, left there and stuff, and then long story short, so basically I'm waiting this whole time, obviously the fights get pulled and stuff like that, and then my friend who's in South Africa was pestering the lab who give us the scan images from 2017, because all I had was the report.
So you got a reference point.
But every time I tried to get them, I couldn't get it. I tried it off EFC, they could never get it, so I just thought these images were just irrelevant. I didn't even know you needed images for a scan. I just thought the review was what it was. So anyway, so he's pestering this lab. Eventually you get sent to one person, saying this person's off till then, but they're going to sort it. And then it was just a continuous thing like that until he got in touch with a woman who got him these images anyway. So the images came back, I sent them straight off, and basically what's happened is when I fought in 2017, the doctor is either made a mistake and not noticed these 4 things on my brain, which is probably highly unlikely, obviously, if you're a doctor and you're looking for this thing anyway.
That's his job, kind of thing.
Exactly. So they've missed this, and in the review it says, was there any of these spots, anything like that, and just said no to everything, and then said that I didn't even have this gap in my brain. So then what they were now saying is from 2017 till now, till my most recent scan, nothing's changed. So, and I've had 5 fights in that time. So obviously they're saying you're not at any further risk. You can now compete, but you just need to have regular checks to make sure nothing's changing on it. So, in a sense, I'm fine.
What's the timeline in that for you? For your world to be completely crushed from having your dream fight that you've called out, you've got exactly what you wanted, to get a pretty routine scan back, for your whole world to be crushed, to then come back and now know that you're going to fight again. What was that time period?
It was really bad. I was at a pretty low point, because at the same time I've got loads of stuff going on. My mum's really unwell as well. So just saying everything had hit us at one time, it kind of just felt like I hadn't did myself justice. I feel like I've worked so hard to get here where I am now at this stage, but I was about to have that big fight, and then for them to take it all from us, I just felt like it just didn't seem
Not
real.
really.
You know, it didn't seem like it was like right, because I just felt like I had so much like more to give, and I felt like, oh, like if my last fight was my last one, I kind of felt like I wasn't kind of like happy with this kind of success I'd had, and I just felt like it's just
Kinda
deflated. You know what I mean?
To you. Someone's made the decision for
Mm-hmm.
you to say, because there's something inside, not to quote Labby Seafree, but there's something inside, not so strong. I need you to sign it off.
Quite the opposite.
Do you know what I mean? So when someone else is making that decision, that's dog shit, right?
Well, I realise. I mean, normally there's a load of chat and banter and nonsense before the podcast. We jumped straight in at the deep end. I realise you've been here for a couple of hours. We've been chatting, having coffees, and talking and stuff. And I've been wanting to ask these questions straight away because I think I was travelling back from Mexico City or something when you put that post up on your Instagram, and I remember. I mean, obviously, it's a different circumstance, but I remember that feeling of getting that news and you going, so hang on a minute, so I can't fight this time around, but I might not be able to fight at all, and then it's not about it goes from like, what am I going to do to then who am I to then, you know what I mean, like all the other questions that come off that, and they're all shit questions to have to ask yourself.
I literally just felt like I don't know if it sounds crazy or, but I just felt like I kind of like lost my identity. Like I felt like
That's exactly it.
Do you know? Like I felt like, well, like what am I if I haven't got this? And I'm thinking, well, like that I've put out, I haven't really got much else like that. I felt like I could succeed in. Like this, I felt like that, especially that fight as well. I was like, well, this is me shot. You know, after this, like this is my entrance to where I believe I should have been the whole time. You know, so I was like,
You can't even.
I just felt like I like just gutted, just feeling like it just couldn't be like it. You know, like I was just built myself up and worked so hard to get in, just thinking like all the fights and all the camps, and I've been in the gym like since I was 12, and I was just thinking like this can't be it. Like I've worked so hard and I continue to work so hard, and I'm like, well, how can it just be taken from us, like, and just kind of not really know what's happening, you know what I mean? Just like what do I do with myself now, you know? Yeah.
So right at the start of the podcast, Mystery's good idea was that we were going to record this before the announcement for Cal's next fight is made. And we're going to save this, so you're getting this right now after the announcement's been made, so we can talk about the fight, and just the few people in this room are, you know, privy to that top secret information. So obviously it was a big fight. It was a fight that you wanted, a fight that was going to get a lot of eyes on you, a fight that you wanted for a while. You felt is a very winnable fight for you. Obviously you want to run it back. So what was the feeling then when you thought to yourself you'd not only not been able to fight but lost that opportunity to get that fight?
I just felt like it was just taken from us completely. Like I can't even explain it really. It was just mad. Like it didn't seem like it was like really, you know what I mean? Like I kind of just when they said about like obviously not being able to fight and stuff like that, it was crazy. Like, and then obviously like when they said that I was fine again, like the first thing I wanted to do was try and pursue it and try and get it back. So did you contact Bellator then and try and get the fight immediately, or were they contacting you to see how you were doing? And they kind of spoke to me when obviously once CFMMA had like said to them that I was completely fine and that I could continue to fight, said straight away again, or like, we'll get you a fight kind of thing, blah blah blah. So they said, I think it was the London card essentially at first was what they offered, and I was like, well, literally I've got so much, like it's a bad time, like everything's built around having this fight at this date. Now that's not there, like I'm not going to be able to get myself back in, get everything sorted for a November fighting. I knew James wasn't going to obviously have a quick turnaround either as well, and I just thought, well, like I know that he was even already like came out and said like he'd happily fight me again, and I knew John Kavanagh was interested in the matchup as well, so I was just like, well, I want to get my eyes set on one thing, because obviously like I've trained for him, he's trained for me. There's a bit of banter there, you know what I mean? It's being built up, everything's being promoted into it. All that needs to be done is the fight needs to happen. So why wouldn't I just jump out on that one? So that was what I thought, just 100% just push for that, you know what I mean?
And watching the video with the lads when the Raptors came to see her, I noticed you said in there was a time where you would maybe go back in a bit too soon, or rush it, or like just get back in the cage a bit too quick. I suppose if you've had that experience now, and it's going to be all folk.
Yeah, did that help you make this decision to like not rush back into it and make sure you were fully prepared?
Yeah, definitely. Like I feel like I trained so hard for that as well, and then I've all that going on, and then obviously like my man being in hospital at the same time the fight was meant to be, when it never happened. It was just like I just kind of needed just some time to myself, you know what I mean? I haven't even trained, just took a little bit of time away just to refresh myself and just to kind of recharge the batteries a bit, you know what I mean, and deal with me personal issues at home and stuff like that, and just get myself set for this. And then obviously once the new data have been coming out. You know what I mean? That's what I put my focus on, and just knew my time frame of what I had to work with.
Yeah.
So what career could we have expected from you? Was it if you were going to be out of the game completely? I understand that you're quite a keen tattoo artist.
No.
Is that about right? Would you be alright, Jack? You can make some money doing that.
I could actually for the because I've got a really big experience of the tattoo.
Okay.
No,
I don't think you heard this story earlier.
No,
I think you missed it.
Honestly, we're telling him about Slim's tattoo, Brian dead on his leg.
Brian.
So we showed Cal, who was amazed,
Aye.
but then came back with an even better story of his own experience of being a tattoo artist.
Okay.
So basically, my friend Dan got in touch with us. I don't know if he'd bought it previously or he'd got it off someone or what, but he got this tattoo going anyway. So like, it was an absolute piece of shit as well. Like the tunnel where the nail's supposed to go in was like completely gone. So the nail was like jumping in, but then skipping and just like it was like so
Jesus.
bad and so nasty. Like he said to me basically, him and his mate had tattooed their names on each other's arses. So on his arse sheet, he's got Alex written across his arse. So he says to me like, Carl, will you do us a favour and would you like tattoo something over this for us? So I was like, wait, what can I do? You know what I mean? I was like, I'm obviously going to draw a dick. And he's like, just do it then. So I was like, what? So I'm like, fucking hell. So I'm like caning this fucking dick onto his arse cheek so bad. And it's like, but like jumping out the spot and just like lining in so nasty. And he's like grimacing, like holding on the bench. And I'm like blasting it in anyway. And then, so I'm trying to do it. And I get to like pretty sketchy outline done. And it was just ridiculous. And I was like, Dan, I can't do any more. Right? So I was like, basically left and try to scribble over like the penis anyway. So now it's just like he's just got like a shaft, some like the helmet's like completely scribbled, and then it's just got eel in the middle of it. So now it's just like a penis with some scribble over with like half a name in it. It's ridiculous, like it's hilarious.
I think you made a lot of money doing it. There's a load of people names, and it wasn't even like they said, was it a bet? Was it a dare? And they were like, no. Was it a bet? No. They just said they're going to tattoo each other's names. But at least Alex, it works for either way, doesn't it? You can be like,
there are two people in the world walking around with tattoos that I've done.
Really?
They're both bad tattoos, really bad. But like, the thing is, what I've learned about tattoo artists is it gets to the stage where they're not as interested in getting nice work. They're more interested in getting tattoos that remind them of a particular moment, a particular time. So I've got the Scar Man off the Specials album cover on the back of my leg, and that was done in a hotel room in Beverly Hills at like 2:00 in the morning. And after I had that done on my leg, I then tattooed the guy that tattooed me, my friend Matt Skinney, and then my other friend Chris Stewart. And so they've both got a pair of boxing gloves on the back of their leg somewhere with a DH in the cuff.
That's pretty sick.
It's pretty cool, man.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd have to get a photo because I've not seen them in a while, but I bet they've aged terribly because they look shit at the time. So I can't even imagine how bad they
it
are
looks like
now.
someone's been picking it as soon as it's done. My mate Tony's got his mum, who doesn't approve of tattoos in any way, shape or form. She's properly not into it. And he went to her and was like, he put her initials and said, will you sign my hand? Or like, put your initials on my hand. So she did. So she tattooed him, which was quite cool. Fuming the whole time. These are ridiculous. What are you not like when you're older? He's like, I'm fucking old now. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Keep drawing.
Yeah. We'll have to do a fighter ink with you with the Raptors because, yeah, you've got a bunch of stuff. You just had that new one on your shoulder though, right?
A little Japanese smoke blower there.
Was there a story behind it or did you just like the design?
No, I just love Japanese, like artwork, Japanese style tattoos, and Richie, who does me tattoos, kind of knows exactly what I want. So it's just basically it was all my back and all my chest and stuff he done, and then that was he did a little flash sale,
right?
Japanese stuff. So I went in just a little gap filler just to tick us over, like.
Yeah, I'm getting to the stage where I'm filling gaps now. I've got a few gaps, a few big spaces to fill still. But
there was a lot of conversation in Vegas where we stood there on a rooftop somewhere. It's like, so I'm thinking, and just blasting out all these like little pockets and like exact angles of everything. So the amount of time I go in and Tony just looks at me and draws a bit and goes, there? I'm like, yeah. Whereas Dan's all thought out, like, methodically.
I kind of plan mine. You'll notice the pile of gloves if you're watching on video. Some people listen audio only. Old school. I don't know why. Video is the way to go. We've got a pile of gloves on the table. We've been trying them all out. We've got the Rising ones. We've got some Shuto ones. We've got some UFC ones. Some RWC ones. Some Rocky Warriors Cartel. Shout out to Pavel. This is how we do business. We've got the Bellator ones up there, but they're tied up there, and I can't bother to get them down. How do you like the Bellator ones?
Yeah, I do. I think they're really good gloves, actually. Like obviously I've only fought in them one time, but I've trained a bit in them now, and I think they fit nice. Like they're not too kind of tight to your knuckle. You can get a little bit of space between your knuckle as well. So I do. I think they're nice. Like
what's your favourite gloves if you could choose?
The ACB gloves.
Yeah.
I fought in there when ACB come to England, and I felt like they were kind of like a bit more of a boxy glove, you know, the way it fits like snug and nice, but it's not like the same kind of pattern as say this, where it's like rough leather. That's like nice kind of soft leather for you, and it feels like it just fitting in your hands lovely. Like kind of feel like you would throw shots wherever you want and not worry about catching elbows, because they're kind of like, you know, a bit like a boxing glovey kind of fit, so you feel like you would get away with quite a bit, you know, hitting elbows or whatever. So
the fighters were talking about it, weren't they? And they said the ones that you can stand on a table and they almost support themselves, as opposed to the UFC ones which are completely flat. But I was going to ask you. Well, I was going to ask you both, because obviously
these in a bit now. They're
being
a little bit
fighters,
curved.
You both work for like different promotions or been sponsored by different people. Has it been like Dan just said, you Bellator, you training them? Is it as soon as you get into that organisation and you start using their gear? Because the amount of times I see videos like people like Robbie Lawler and different people just training in Booster or Adidas or whatever. I know everyone's got their preference.
I've just recently getting the Bellator ones that I've been training a bit. Because before that, when I had my fight in February, I would normally have a fight and then just wear the gloves that I'd fought in for there, because they're like newer, not smelly and that, and the sound, you know what I mean?
Piss
so
and vinegar.
and then but them I didn't have my gloves, so I had to get a pair sorted, sort of wear them for the gym and that. But the ACB ones is the ones I've probably wore the most. I feel like they're like, even just in grappling as well, I just feel like they're so soft. Like certain kind of gloves can feel a bit chunky sometimes, whereas them feel like you can do whatever you want with them on.
Yeah. So we'll have to have a glove trying on session a bit. You tried on my full Reptile ones, didn't you?
Yeah, they're sick.
They've got.
Really nice.
I've extended a bunch of things on them. Extended the fingers and thumb, because I've got.
They're like Rolls Royce, man.
They're wicked, aren't they?
Yeah,
I've got hands like ET,
well.
I think. So yeah, man.
Aye.
I like them to stand out. So we've not talked about your fight, your announcement. Let's talk about it, because this will be put out after the announcement.
So I got the contract sent out for February 22nd in Dublin again. I don't know if it's going to be main event or co-main or wherever on the card, but I didn't even really care at all. I'm just happy that the fight's back on, you know what I mean? So I've got the fight back with James Gallagher for Dublin again, so get to run it back and do it properly, you know what I mean?
So then how do you not think about anything else between now and starting training camp?
I'm just going to start as if it's just a long camp. I'm going off to Italy and then Rome. I was meant to be doing the Europeans, and then I'm in Nogi, and I missed the flipping registration, so that's out the window. So I'm just going to go and have a good time out there and just get some good rounds in. You know, go to East Coast and in Ireland and get some good rolls in there with Dara and people like that. Just got some really high level lads there, and then go out to Rome and just roll with the lads who's competing and just have a good time and just recharge, and then come back and just get straight back on it and just get my life back a bit and just start my regular routine, because I just felt like I've been a bit on just autopilot lately, you know what I mean? I just trying to just get through what's going on, you know what I mean? But then I'm really looking forward to actually doing that and starting to just get back into the gym regularly, you know what I mean? Get my life back.
Yeah. What did you think of Gallagher's last fight? Because obviously that was supposed to be your
quick,
fight.
Wasn't
It was quick. I think the guy thought, like, look, they'd panic. He didn't. He looked like he maybe wanted it a bit. I don't know. Maybe I was watching it and thinking maybe there's more he could have done when he was first in it and stuff like that, like a bit of prevention and stuff like that. But it is what it is. You know, James did well. A lot of pressure on his shoulders, and he come in and got the job done. Good fashion, you know what I mean? So it was a good performance for him.
It seems to have completely changed him, that loss.
Yeah.
I know obviously he was coming out and he was walking, he was doing the Billy strut, and he had a lot of smoke, didn't he? Blowing up him.
Yeah.
But like he sent a different person coming out. I know that you've had a little bit of back and forth, and obviously he's been humbled a little bit.
Yeah.
His last couple have been decent, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad you got it back, man.
Yeah. So what is the vibe between the two of you then?
I don't even understand. I don't really know, to be honest. I don't really know, to be honest. I'm just the same guy always, you know what I mean? I didn't really care who I'm fighting or what they've said about us or what. I just know that and day, and I want to do it, you know. I just want to fight. It doesn't matter about all that stuff, and him saying all the stuff that he did about us and stuff like that just built it up anyway, so it was a bit of a laugh. And he's been cool about it after the whole thing came on, you know. He was a gent about all that, you know what I mean? So that was cool. So I respect him more from that. Like I didn't before that, and even though we're still going to fight, and he's still going to come out and say all this shit about us and whatever he wants, I do respect him more for that. You know what I mean? So
I was wondering when you said I'm going to message him, talk to him, and it's like that's kind of fucking weird. You know, when you've been at each other a little bit, or you know, you're focusing purely on this guy who's rang up. He's like, "Excuse me, just to let you know, this is happening." Oh, that's no problem. Thanks a lot. Do you know what I mean?
No, he was cool about it, and like obviously at the end of the day, like he's a fighter himself, he knows like, and there's no denying how hard I worked for that anyway, you know what I mean. There's no one wanting to fight him as much as I want, you know. So he felt probably the same about me, you know. So I was just as gutted as him, like I you know what I mean. It killed us not being able to be the one fighting him there. So
and you went as well,
100%. So it was just one of them things. So it's going to be the same. Like it doesn't make us want to win any less, you know what I mean. It's my whole life, like so.
Whose idea was it to give the shout out? Was it on the plane or train, wherever you were?
Oh, the airline.
Mate,
that was
wicked.
Crazy, man. Honestly, I was just... it was funny because my mum and dad, obviously, when my mum being in hospital, they couldn't get out of Dublin for the fight anyway, so I sat in their seats on the plane on the way over, so rather than sitting in mine, and it was because my mum's in a wheelchair, it's the first two, so we were sitting there in the air. Hostess and the man, I don't know what he's called, host. Is that right? Is that right?
Oh, yes, right, yeah.
So he sat there in front of us and he was like on the phone, but you could tell he was just like hating it, just like it was literally like stuck in his face, like he had his eyes shut, he was just trying, and I was like, mate, let me say something, and he was like, I was like, oh mate, just give us the phone, I'll say something. So he like goes to hand us the phone, but like I was
fucking risky that, isn't it?
Imagine I could have just went, let's go down. A full place.
Not even fucking flying yet.
There's a bomb, you know. There's something I could have said out like that, you know. Obviously I wouldn't, but I was on the phone.
Someone would though. Some fucking lunatic would.
Fuck me.
This one would. He definitely would with the opportunity.
One of the dudes I was with, we were literally the same flight. We were on the ladders, getting on the plane. He just sparks a tab up. It's like, mate, what are you doing, man? It's a woman comes running over and he's like puffing away, and then he passes it to me mate. My mate's having a blast on it, and then it's like all of a sudden they're like, you're gonna get arrested, man. That's like crazy, mate.
There was a flight that was grounded flying across the US the other day. It was like redirected to Texas because someone sparked up on the plane.
When we were coming back, we came back from Spain, and the smallest, frailest old woman in neon galaxy leggings. She was full Benidorm.
She sounds fit.
Full tilt, full Benidorm. Fucking old dude sat with her with eyebrows you could fucking make mattresses out of. And I'm sat there with the kids, and then I need the toilet, and obviously, as you know, if you've got kids, you're up and down to the fucking toilet because it's an adventure anyway. So it's like, I need to go make the toilet go again. It's like, all right, no worries. So we keep going backwards and forwards, and there's this steward. That's it, innit? Host. Steward.
Here we go.
We got it.
We got there.
With a
D.
Steward.
Yeah, not like Stuart.
With a T.
You're Stuart. So this steward was looking really worried, and he kept trying to get into this door, and I was like, everything all right? He was like, I think she's smoking in there. And I was like, no way, what? Fucking got any tops? And he's like, yeah, she's been in twice, taken like 20 minutes, went in there. So before I could take the kids in, he went in and turned it upside down and found a knob end, but like put out in where the tissues were.
Right.
Which,
Fucking hell.
I'm not being funny, like, you fucking stupid. If there's fucking water, run it under the tap, do whatever. Or don't smoke on a 2-hour flight, you fucking crusty old bin. So, bear in mind, I've got my kids on the flight, so now I'm getting super like, you could have killed me and my kids, you fucking maniac. So he came up to me, will you be a witness? I was like, fucking, what do I have to do? Do I punch? And he was like, no. Just stand back and like...
Witness.
Yes.
Teed out.
Yeah. Fucking ripping eyebrows off. And he went and he approached her and he was like, I need to talk to you about smoking on the plane. You're not allowed to smoke on the plane. And she went apeshit. I can't believe you're accusing me, blah, blah, blah. And eventually she had, and we all got pulled aside at the end, and we all had to sign this thing. And I was like, "Do I get some fucking holiday vouchers?" Or
smell
something?
our fingertips or something?
Yeah, mate, they were fucking brown, like full tilt
binges.
She was fucking minging. So yeah, they didn't ground the flight though because we were nearly home. But
Remember, but how old are you?
28.
Yeah, you might remember 38. Yeah. You remember smoking on planes still.
Mate, I've still got a McDonald's ashtray. You know, like from McDonald's. They
Came in a Happy Meal.
Yeah, with 10 Bensons, schoolboy packet, and matches and everything. I've got a tin McDonald's ashtray that used to be on the table of every McDonald's, and it had like little. It looked like the lid of the McDonald's cup, which is That's branding on point, that fucker, isn't it?
That what you said about the Bensons. There was a supply teacher that used to come into our school called Mrs. Monroe, and she just used to leave her tabs on the table. So at break time, we'd all just
all
like
day.
just go and smoke our cigarettes in school. You know what I mean? It was
If a teacher was
Miss
daft
Monroe.
enough to leave cigarettes on where we were, that was it. They were fair game.
Yeah.
Just go in the like gym staff room. It was fucking amazing. Like hotbox, that Snoop Dogg was in there. I forgot my shorts. And like, 1 minute. Fucking sponsored by Lambert and Butler.
my first fight when I remember when I was obviously fighting and stuff. The boxing shows used to still have like this big cloud of smoke above the ring and stuff like that. And you just see it in the lights because
crazy, isn't it?
I fought in Birmingham, down there, and everyone was like smoking like skunk joints at the door, and the full place just stunk. It was just like packed out just in Birmingham. I remember it was rough as out. Like
My second pro fight, it was on the pier in Portsmouth. Was it Portsmouth? Yeah, it was on the pier in Portsmouth, in like the pub on the pier, and I was fighting Paul Jenkins. So I'd lost my first pro fight, so I was 0-1, and he was 24-13-3 or something like that. Main event. It was a mess. And it was in this place, and we were fighting in a ring. So the ring had raised us up by sort of 2 feet, and this put us a lot closer to the ceiling than was what was comfortable. But the worst part about it was not being so close to the ceiling that if you power doubled someone that you'd bang their head on the roof. It was that everyone was still smoking indoors at the time. So the smoke had gathered, so it was just about fucking here. You know what I mean?
It's like you're in China.
Yeah. So it was literally like if you stood upright, there was like this blanket of smoke that you just put your head into. So yeah, it was like
Everyone's crouching.
Ref's got like a mask on.
Yeah.
It was
Or
ridiculous.
smoking.
It was bad. Yeah. It was bad. And I got £100 for that fight.
Really?
Which just about covered the fuel to get there.
That's almost as much as you got for GSP, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. That was what I came out with after the expense of the damn thing. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, no, we were talking about smoking real quick. We were talking about the other day the first time you tried smoking, and Mr. was saying that he tried smoking a twig. And it sounds stupid. It sounds mad stupid. But I can remember doing exactly the same thing. I can remember doing the same thing because we found matches.
Get that fucking microphone in front of your face and explain yourself.
There's nothing to explain. I haven't said it.
But that's what you do, innit?
At what age was this?
24.
About 9.
Yeah. It was like a hollow twig and I just was in the woods with my hands.
Oh, not even peer pressure. You go first. All right, Mystery. No, you go first. All right, Mystery. Dude, I can remember smoking a twig. I can remember it was like a hollow, and because we found matches, it was like, I wonder if you can smoke that. Because we were all told you can smoke dried out banana and you can smoke tea. I can remember once we ran out of Rizzlers and I rolled up a cigarette in a Kit Kat wrapper.
It explains a lot.
Yeah,
He'd
to
been
be fair,
smoking
it's gone,
caffeine
man.
since he was 9.
But I can roll fast. So I rolled this fucking this joint. That's just came out of my mouth way too easy. I rolled this cigarette back in the day in a Kit Kat wrapper, and I'm sat there. I lit it,
breathing the plastic
mate,
in.
and it just went. It just unzipped. It was gone, and I'm just covered in back. And I'm like, it didn't work. I didn't know if you had a similar experience. I know
I've never smoked anything out of a fucking Kit Kat wrapper, no.
So what's your word? I didn't know if you'd smoked
That's
before.
bad. That's
like
the
when
bad
you were-
side of drugs.
That's
Like
Daddy Bad Touch.
Like there are lines that are crossed. Anytime silver foil, anytime tin foil becomes involved,
I'm not
you've crossed
cooking
over.
spoons.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You
Got a
smoked
Kit
out
Kat,
of
yeah, it's close
you
enough.
smoked out of a Kit Kat wrapper.
Basically, I'm a
Right?
smokehead now.
That's like the worst kind of paper soaked in ink.
Yeah, to be fair,
Like
the
you,
red tasted
You could have been
funny.
tripping balls for weeks.
Not stopped. I was about 11. Yeah, I think you smoke daft shit when you like stuff like that. Though.
Yeah.
As soon as he said I smoked a twig, I was like, me too.
You ever smoked a twig?
No, but I got my mate stoned off a cookie before. Like, it was like bucky. So in the room, this was years ago when we were all kids, we were having like buckets in the room, water with a bottle and stuff like that. So ripping it in, I was like, I want to give Luke a bucky one. So I put loads of bucky in the top of it, Maryland cookie, and just ripped it in. Just creamiest, just destructor you've ever seen ever. And Luke just manhandled it, just blasted it. He's just sitting there like coughing his guts, and he's sitting there, and we just like chilling, obviously, as you do, just getting stoned, whatever, chilling about.
The creamiest manhandler.
Luke is just absolutely.
That's Wad's fire name.
It's his show name. So anyway, so he says all this, and then we're all just chilling and that, and Luke, like, fucking hell, Luke, you in Maryland, like, mate? So it's like, fucking hell, mate, I'm in Maryland. Well, like, young as fuck, you know. I'm in Maryland. I was like, just showing him the Maryland kooky rapper, just like, Maryland. He's like, did you have some of that in that bucket with us? Did you make us just smoke that cookie there? And just absolutely gutted fuming with us because we've just made him suck a
But
pot
couldn't
massive,
move because
just
he's massive
massive
settee now.
batty bucket. I just absolutely disgusting.
A backy bucket.
Aye, horrible.
Dude,
Blood off, aye.
I can remember, if you ever want to play a trick on someone that smokes roll-ups, which is quite funny if you guys see him inhale a load of chemicals other than tobacco, roll it with 3 filters and the smallest bit of backy. Because then, like, if someone's just always catching you cigarettes and just like, oh, can I pinch a rollie because it doesn't cost anything? You're like, yeah, fuck it. We'll get to the point where you roll it with all the filters, and then it's like talking away, and then all of a sudden they lit that plastic and they just nearly died. It's funny as fuck. Teach them a lesson. You know what I mean? Lessons learned. So I've had to do that.
Isn't it funny? This is one of those moments that remind me how diverse the UK is. Like, how far a drive is it from where you are? How long did it take you to get here today? A couple of 3 hours?
3 hours, 10 minutes or something.
Like, so you've got such a different accent and all the phrases that you use.
Gadgy. How are you? Oh, that stuff.
Fucking creamy manhandler.
Creamy manhandler. That's great.
Absolutely vicious bong here, but just knew it was just going to wreck him. Like, it was just stupid shit. Like.
Oh, that's brilliant.
But
That needs a hashtag.
We consider our accents normal,
That
right?
needs a hashtag. Yeah, we do. Well, they are.
Yeah.
My accent gets worse when I hang around with you.
Yes, and
Stronger,
even worse
not
when
worse.
Jimmy.
Stronger, worse.
Jimmy was sat there yesterday, and Dan normally has to try and translate a lot of shit that I say. So
For the worldwide audience, because people around the world do listen to us.
yeah, which is good.
Someone
sent me a picture on Twitter the other day with Mr. Worldwide. Where's the podcast Worldwide?
Just took your hair off and that.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, where is it worldwide? But when Jimmy was there, I'm thinking, they're not going to understand this.
No.
We covered him in pillars. And I was like, I've only just got that.
What is it?
They
were talking
covered
about a
Dan in
weight cut.
pillows to make him...
I was cutting to 160.
But you'd have to say that
I'd
throat
missed
cushion
weight.
or something, wouldn't you?
Yeah, they were massive. They were like as big as the top of this table. They were huge.
They're Jimmy's sex pillows.
They were fucking not. They were fucking not.
You'd have lost some weight there.
Oh man, I'd have lost a lot of things.
I can't remember what I got us there. I was talking about smoking. Sorry, I completely took it off James Gallagher and went to when did you first have a cigarette?
Yeah, where were we? So the date now is, just to give you some perspective, the date now is October 8th. So we'll put this out whenever the announcement's made. But what's your plan for the rest of the year then?
Just enjoy me training.
Like,
just train.
You're going to travel to train? Are you staying at home to train?
I'll travel a little bit. Obviously, the first one being there, going out to Dublin and then going to Rome. That'll just be the start of it, really. Then
when are you doing that?
What is it there?
It's actually Tuesday the 8th. Just to reconfirm.
A week today. I think it's when we'll fly to Dublin a week today. Yeah, I think I'm out there for 3 days. And then I think I'm in Rome 2 or 3, and then just going to get some training out there, and then start from there. I've done it a couple of times now. I've went out to Ireland and trained at East Coast, so I think end of the year I'll probably try and get 1 or 2 more of them trips in as well, because there's some really good rounds out there. You know what I mean? Really good grapplers. So probably make another couple of trips there. Like
everywhere you go, just travel in your Master Debonair 3-piece.
No, I just...
It's pretty dapper.
Yeah, that's nice. There's some nice gear
just
there.
Just for press conferences and stuff like that. Or if I go away with the lads, like obviously like I'm an ambassador for them now, so they kind of like wear some certain stuff that they might give us to wear for that trip, you know what I mean? But
looks good, man. It always looks good.
I'm surprised you've not had a call from Peaky Blinders yet to be an extra. I mean, you just slide right in the back.
Could we make another season? Has he got a ginger beard? Maybe. You just shop it out. It's not a lot of ginger in Peaky Blinders, is there?
Yeah, it's nice gear that is, though, isn't it? It's nice gear. What do? You go out for a fitting, do you? Are they in London?
No, well, they've got a shop in London, but they're also in Sunderland as well, just next to where I live.
Oh, nice.
And just different stuff. Obviously different. It's mad because they've got so many different sizes for us, like different points, like training, like start a fight, close to the fight, after the fight, like whatever. And so I
getting sewn into it.
So I always just go back different times, and I'm like, we do certain shoots and stuff like that. So it's pretty sick. Like it's they've got a good thing going on there. Like
so what's your spectrum of weight then? Because you're quite big at the moment.
I'd say probably, like, obviously I fight at 61, so I like anywhere between 61 to 80 kilos, just in between,
Right.
at any time. Just obviously it depends. Like a lot
61's
of the time.
135, and 80 kilos is
A
what?
bit more.
What? 180 pounds ish. Okay.
Aye,
So you're not going full rumble just yet.
I've been full rumble before. I'm trying to be a bit
Full
better
rumble.
now.
Yeah. It's when his ears went around with his neck. It's like, oh, he went rumble.
That's it. Like I like.
Is it good weight though? When you gain weight, when you put weight on, do you gain much body fat? I used to.
I
used to
do.
get
I'm
kinda
a pig.
chubby.
Like that's my like kind of vice. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't take a great deal.
What's the vice? What do you eat?
I just everything. Yeah, cheesecakes. My girlfriend makes like the best cheesecakes in the
Really?
world. So I just. I'm on them. Like, I
He's
just
scooping up with a Kit Kat though.
Nah,
Like, he's doubling down.
Just
No,
whenever
he's
I-
smoking the Kit Kat.
Smoking the Kit Kat.
straight in the wrapper, quick hit, and then
Using a penguin biscuit to scoop out a cheesecake, washing it down with Doritos.
no, just different stuff all the time. But it just depends. Like especially for that last one, I tried to be a bit better, and I started way out, and I was like 68 kilos a few weeks after the fight, so my weight was fine. You know what I mean? When I fought Nathan Grayson, I was 68.9 the morning before, so I did like a bit of a Yule weight cut there. You know what I mean? So now I try to obviously.
What's that? 16 pounds.
So I now try to obviously just kind of like do it a lot more
There's a
sensible.
good picture of you doing a weight cut, isn't there?
There is actually.
your
There's a good picture of you with Gareth Davis.
Yes.
That's two good pictures.
We've got to circle back around to
tell
that. We had this conversation in the kitchen. I'm like, the problem is when a guest, even when Owen arrives, when anybody arrives at the house, there's like an hour or two's worth of conversation where we talk about all the good shit, and then when we get to the podcast, we're like,
Shit, we said that. So
yeah, we should have, yeah. But we've got to circle back around to this because we mentioned Gareth on the podcast with Jimmy.
Our friend.
Because Gareth's a mainstay in UK MMA, and he's an interesting
ambassador
character.
for Reptile.
We like him. He's not sure about us though. Particularly the Raptors. He doesn't like the Raptors. But then again, they are a bit Marmite, as Owen would say. A bit, you either like them or you don't. Yeah. Security still. Yeah. There you go.
It works, man. It works. I love the guy, but I can see how. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Where was I going?
Straight on to
Oh,
JD.
we were talking about your photograph.
So
Go on, tell the story. But the bit I didn't get into was why the fuck would you do what you did? So tell the story first.
So me and one of my teammates, Lewis Monnick, we used to just have this mad thing where we just like, because we were just young kids, when we first in MMA, it was like young lads just first going out around the town and that, so we're like dead Larry and that, and we used to just do stupid shit, man. Like, we used
In
to always
tap
no, just used to just do stupid stuff, and we always just used to like stealthy ball people where you like just get a photo with someone random and just get your knackers out. So we just used to do it in the town all the time. We were mates with loads of the different doormen, and we always just used to have a laugh with them, get random photos outside the clubs and stuff like that, and then just get like random strangers walking past and have our knackers out. It was ridiculous, really. When you think about
So
it.
just to clear, just to clarify
That's-
exactly what Cal's talking about.
Yeah.
A stealthy knacker is where he's removed his testicles via either the zip fly or above the waistline, and he's holding said knacker's testicles in his hand while posing for a picture with a celebrity or a random stranger or doorman. So there's no Frank, just the beans.
No discrimination, just straight in anyone.
No length, just plumb.
That's it. Just knackers.
It's
Knee
just
shaft.
Yeah.
One or two.
Yeah. He's
Depends.
got two.
Depends. It would be different.
Depends how much you like the person.
He's got two. He's fine.
Fully fine. There is
Fully
two.
fine. Two balls. Sorry, dude. You can carry on with your story.
So that was that. So anyway, so that was what we used to do anyway, and we just used to get random people, and we were going to the UFC in Birmingham when Mark Munoz fought Chris Lieben. Can you remember that card?
Yeah.
Brad Pickett fought a sunset. No, was it Brandel? Diego Brandel. Was it Brandel? No, what's his name? Who was champion?
But
Hennenborough. That was
Diego
it.
Brandel rhymes with that, so
Yes, similar. There or thereabouts. So anyway, we're going down for that UFC event anyway. Phil DeFreese, who actually trains with us, he was fighting on it, so that's why we're there. What was it anyway? So I was like, imagine if I saw Gareth. It would be hilarious getting me knackers out and getting a photo with Gareth. But then we did see him, so I was like, fuck. There's Gareth. I'm going to have to get a photo of him with me knackers out. So like, I went over and it's like, oh God, I think I'll get a photo and that. And then obviously gets this photo and he's like some like security dudes here and that, and he's like looking at me what I'm doing, like giving us this crazy
Looking
like
at the brains.
I just
Smile,
I just stand straight down at the nads and just like. So anyway, so I get this photo and like Gareth's like, oh, don't put this on Facebook, guys, and that and there. Guys. So I just started out of it, and then obviously I got this photo, and then recently got it sent back to us because this is off years ago. And actually, if Gareth sees this, I don't know him, so I haven't got a problem with him. It was just he was a random person who we thought would be a cool photo to get somebody who's known to get the night out. So anyway, so Gareth's not a direct target there or anything. It's just like, whatever. So anyway, so I just got that photo and then there's a photo of me when we night out.
We can embed that. But, so have you seen him since?
I seen him when I fought Nathan Grayson. I was doing the media thing there and he came in the room but he didn't speak to us. And I was like, the whole time I was like, I wonder if he knows that, like, oh, someone's maybe sent him it or whatever.
Oh, do you not ask for another picture? Because you know I've gone up, like, crabbed up to him. So.
The other side.
Yeah.
Give the other one some light. Just
yeah.
like,
Maybe if you'd have got your nuts out, it'd have recognised you.
Oh, it's Carl.
I remember you.
Hello.
You were my prospect of the year. Prospect. Shit.
So that's it. Like that was the story. Just got this random photo.
And so is that your biggest name that you've not shotted?
I guess so.
So basically, what we're asking for in return is that everyone that ever has a picture with Cal now, can you please release the beans. It's going to be a hashtag.
Needs a hashtag.
This could be your thing. This could be like Taito Abash's shoey.
Knock this out. The red corner.
The stealth nad.
Oh man, just one, just as Bruce Buffer's corner, and just like in the red corner, you just stood there, just one, real strangled out there. Come on, Bruce.
Dennis Ballman, just straight out the side of the nad.
Dude, mate, that was ridiculous. Did you see the press conference after the Dennis Hallman situation?
Aye.
Yeah.
Dana was fucking fuming.
Didn't his opponent have the arrow to his like?
Yeah,
he got
the
piece or was it to his chin or something?
Oh, was that Brian Ebersol?
Brian
Yeah.
Ebersol.
He always had an arrow.
Did they fight each other that fight? Didn't they?
Yeah, because
remember.
Dana
So
gave
it
him a
was.
bonus for getting him out of the ring that fast.
Was that
Getting
what
him
it was?
Yeah. Imagine getting at the time it was 65 grand. So basically, he subbed him quick, and he got 65 grand for getting the speedos out the fucking at the scene.
Yeah. You know the thing that's mad? Dennis Hallman. He'll forever be remembered for those
2 Matt Hughes wins.
Yeah, he beat Matt Hughes twice.
Crazy win, mate.
You know?
Absolutely crazy.
Isn't it crazy?
And that was
how
when Matt Hughes was Matt Hughes, not.
Yeah. Sometimes when like someone's the other person's kryptonite, they just can't ever get around them, you know.
Yeah, well, there was Benson Henderson and Frankie, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. Aye.
Yeah.
I think Frankie won both of them personally, but
Yeah.
I thought Frankie won
in the first.
if I remember back, I remember watching it. I'm sure I thought Frankie nicked it.
Who do you like watching?
I love watching Frankie Edgar. That's a good one.
Yeah. How did you get into MMA?
It's weird, mate. Like obviously, like I got into
I
it.
love a weird story.
No, it's not like weird as if like
It's
fucking
weird. The
there's
testicles
meatballs.
came out great, and this coach
there's
said
two
he's
hands.
the man.
There's 2 hands. No,
2 hands. He's fine.
It was just I started boxing from a young age, and me and my dad used to always watch UFC on the telly, the early ones, and I just always like thought it was dead interesting, but I just never really knew anywhere where I did it. You know what I mean? It was unheard of, like to me then. You know what I mean? So I stopped boxing. I was 18, and I was just keeping fit in another boxing gym, and there was a tiny little not bigger than this room, like it's a tiny cupboard, like with little mats on the walls, and Andrew Fisher was coaching people in the back of there, and I always saw that, and one of my mates was training there, and he was like, "Oh, you should pop in one day." And obviously, I'd won stuff in boxing. I'd 26 fights, fought all over the place, fighting at a good level and stuff like that. And so coming from that, and then to doing something like that, and just getting absolutely tortured by like the biggest nerdiest people ever, and I was like, whoa, like this is mad coming from that, where I felt like I would do something, and then coming in just getting tortured. You know what I mean? So like really made us want to like fully apply myself to it, and that was it. Like from there, I just kind of just took it up straight away and just fell in love with it. Like,
and you stayed in the same place since? You stayed with the same people?
Always, Andrew Fisher from day one. Train there full time now, and I train at North East Jiu Jitsu as well. I do some gi and no gi training there as well.
Nice, nice. So what were the fights? What was like the early days fighters that you like watching back in the day?
Mate, funnily enough, I really liked when I first started. I really liked Thiago Alves.
Yeah,
I really liked his
those
style.
low kicks were ridiculous.
That's it. No,
What was your first memories? Was it him sparking Matt Hughes out with that knee?
With the knee, and I remember he was on the cover of a Fighters Only magazine, and I seen it, and I thought the picture was sick, and I was like, oh, he looks like a tank. And then I started watching his fights from there. I thought that made us a bit of a fan of his. Like, I liked watching his fights. And Uriah Faber, I always really liked Uriah Faber. Just the way he fights, I thought he was a cool hippie dude. You know what I mean? That's kind of like, I used to have, obviously until my hair went shit, like I used to have like long blonde hair. I used to think I was,
of course he did.
I used to think I was like that. You know what I mean? I used to love him just that. So him, I was a big fan of him. I like Brad Pickett as well.
Yeah.
I used to enjoy watching his fights as well. Like I just thought he was a good one. So I'd say them.
Nice.
Nick Diaz.
We'll check him on his first names.
Yeah. Who have you trained with? Who have you trained with that you wanted to train with? Anybody? Any seminars? Any? You know what I mean? You travelled much to train.
I we travelled just before I fought Nathan Grayson. I went to All Stars.
Yeah,
that was pretty sick. I got to train with what was it? I forget his name now.
Was Reza there?
Reza, I got to train with Reza.
I love Reza. He's one of my favourite people.
He gives a pair of gloves.
Lunatic. He gave you a pair of gloves.
He did.
Nice.
He was funny. He was a dead nice dude. Like, was it Andreas, the coach, as well?
Yeah, Andreas
he was dead sound. I enjoyed it, but I was a bit wrecked there because it was mad. We went out there. It was like 2 weeks before my fight, but I was injured, so I couldn't really do anything when I was there. I did a couple of rolls and did loads of like assault bike and just watched the sessions because I was sorry. I was there. I was.
You can swear.
Was it alright? Sorry.
Yeah. we won't have Owen on otherwise.
Imagine you couldn't swear.
I had a really bad shoulder, and that was completely just ruining everything. And it was funny because I did a round with Reza, with Spawn, did a round with Reza and ended up in a horrible position and got my arm cranked off, and it was just the bad one as well. So I was like, one day I was like, fuck this, I'm just going to train anyway. I'm not bothered if I'm injured and fighting in 2 weeks time. I'm like, I want to train. So I did a round with a big guy. He's fought in Pride and stuff like that. I fought in the UFC and he was dead sound. We had a nice technical round, bit moving about.
David Bilkiden.
I think that might be his name.
He was a monster.
He's a monster.
He's a monster.
Just dead nice, like relaxed movement. It was cool. We had a nice technical round. Then did the round with Reza and ended up hurting my shoulder again. That was it. Like, so I trained there. East Coast. I've went there and trained there, and that's somewhere where I really like to go now. So I'll try and do more trips there. Like,
where would you go if you could go anywhere?
I'd love to train. with the Diaz brothers and see what that would be like. I'd love to.
Go train with Faber.
Aye, that would be sick.
You'd have to grow your hair out again.
Definitely.
Sell all your shoes, training for flip flop.
Going straight to Turkey for a hairline.
In his place, the whole bank thing.
Aye,
you're not allowed to do that.
I like to train with Marcelo Garcia as well. I really like guillotines and stuff like that.
Did you guys call in there when you were over in New York to Garcia's? Not yet.
We didn't.
Did you not?
We didn't because we were having a renovation.
Okay, that was very proper, wasn't it?
We were smoking Twiglets, and they were having a renovation.
That was like a public service announcement. Yeah,
guys,
because they were having a renovation.
Guys, we're renovating, guys. Man, I did some work for Garcia once. I did some artwork for him. Back in the day, because he used to be managed by Neems.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah, it was one of them ones.
I'd like to train with him.
Can you do this quick? And I was like, yes.
I remember Eddie spent a couple of days training with him, and when he came back to 10th Planet, he was talking about how good he was. Like his neck attacks. Eddie all of a sudden became obsessed with neck attacks. But that whole back-taking game is perfect for MMA, I think. I think if I could go back and like start again, my whole focus would just be taking people's backs. You know, I think it's the most vulnerable position you can put someone in. I think
it's
in MMA.
how quick and effective. And I can't remember who it was that said it. I think was it Matt Hughes that said, if you lose by a rear naked, you give up, or you allowed it to happen. Which I know we don't listen to exactly what Matt Hughes says. You don't know
says a lot of shit.
You don't know whose wife he's with, and you don't know where he's saying it, so we can't. Really say that. But the thing is that when you see nowadays people. When someone used to get hooks in and on the back,
you're miles away from the microphone.
Sorry, get hooks in.
I told him about this so many times. He's fucking
body triangle. Then that's it, game over, right? You know, when someone's on. But now the amount of times, even with Al at the weekend, he just like 2-on-1, and he was just safe the whole time. It was nowhere near like early days where if a rear naked's halfway in, it's finished. It's done.
I think a lot more people's relaxing in them positions now as well, like because they've got a lot of knowledge there, so that's how maybe it is getting stretched out a bit longer. You know what I I think back in the day, obviously, the levels are different and stuff like that. I feel like if you got someone to back then, it would be a lot easier to finish a choke than what it would be now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Mainly because a lot of people weren't even training with people that were attacking them from behind, you know what I mean? It was like so segmented back in the day. Everyone's got good back defense now, so yeah.
Well, look at submissions before to now. It's crazy. Like when you look at Matt Hughes tapping George St. Pierre with a second to go.
Yeah, and there are so few arm bars in MMA now as well for men's MMA.
Mate, when you look back at when it was like a big thing with Tim Sylvia and Frank Mir, stuff like that, and you see people,
but that was forearm, wasn't it?
It snapped it.
Both of them, and he
and then
didn't even
Tim
know
Sylvia's
about
like,
it.
"Derp, I want to continue." And like, you can't. Your arms broken. It's like, "Derp, derp, derp."
I've just got 2 elbows on this one. I've just got 2 elbows on this
I
one.
both elbows, and Frank was like, "It's okay, you finished.
Yeah.
Just walk away. I need another edible."
I was at Frank's fight when he did
Nagara.
when he did Nagara's shoulder.
It's the worst one, isn't it? How he just keeps rolling and then
That's
butting
probably one of
it
the
and butting
best
it.
because it didn't crack him a few times. He's out on his feet,
Yeah.
crack, and then they go to the ground, and then he rolls him. And again, I always use that one. A lot of people, I've said before, don't like it when they say, "I don't like the cuddling." I like stand up. I like to see people fight, but I don't like the cuddling. I'm like, we can have a cuddle. I'll just show you how effective it is. Like, nah, I don't like cuddling. So I'll play that, and they get to see it and how effective it is, and they're like, "Oh, okay, maybe I'll watch some more." And then I get some fucking snooze fest.
I think what will make a lot of people respect it a lot more is if they actually felt someone holding them down. You know how if you roll with like someone who's never trained, you pin them, and I feel like if even if someone wasn't a fan of the grappling and then you showed them how effective you can be at just controlling them, I think they would respect it a lot more.
Yeah.
Dan did it to Ross Edgley with 2 fingers.
Hey!
X-rated.
Yeah.
You don't want to say that one.
So Ross was fine. He was fine. But basically,
Two hands.
He was fine. And Dan basically pinned his hip in his shoulder, and you're like, right, get up. And the guy felt like a muscle shark.
He swam around the UK. Do you know the guy Ross Edgley? He's a monster. Swam around the UK. He is the nicest guy. He's got a book in the other room, the world's fittest. I'll show you. He's a monster, but he's the nicest guy, and he's one of those kind of athletes that it doesn't matter what he turns his eyes to. If he goes 100% on it, he's just going to do it. He
looks like Adonis or something.
He does. He's a monster.
But he speaks like he went to Oxford.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, if you got a load of gangster tattoos on him, if he was your character in GTA like San Andreas and you sprayed a load of tattoos on, he looks the part, but then when he talks, he's like, mother. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
He's the nicest guy.
Lovely bloke.
So we went to the gym and we were having a move around in the cage at the gym, and he's so physically strong. But like, without that awareness of how to like disable someone's movement, it was interesting to see him like it's always interesting to see someone that's got a good awareness of their body then have those realizations that it can be quite easily disabled if you don't know how.
He was drowning.
You know what I mean?
It's like a Ferrari or a Ford Fiesta engine in, and that's
Yeah.
The problem is
You look
once
the
I'd
part,
shown him, then he's throwing me around like the whole
savage.
So we had to get a new cage in the gym, and he blasted me through one of the walls. It's ridiculous.
There was a gas tank, and it just came out and it's just shredded like someone had sprayed like a rash guard on it. It's like, oh, mate,
Yeah, I'm going to convince him to have an MMA fight. I think he'd pull someone's arms off.
Yeah.
Getting to fight that big baldy tic tac head. What's he called?
big baldy tic tac kid. There will be subtitles. This is going to be like Ultimate Fighter Season 3 when Bisping spoke and it just came up with subtitles. And he wasn't even saying anything hard. Big baldy tic tac head. What was his name?
I don't remember. I'm
can't
not
remember.
saying
Martin
his
Ford
name.
or something?
Yeah, that's the one.
You put the fucking target on him.
He's a monster, but yeah.
Well, you can fight him. I reckon he can pull someone's arm off and hit him with a stadium.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, he'd be a middleweight as well. That's what's scary about him.
Dude.
He's terrifying.
Talking of middleweights then, real quick, after the fight.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
obviously we've just gone
I know
off.
a bit of
We're only
time's
on
passed,
the 8th.
but
But we spoke about it yesterday with Jimmy, about obviously the whole performance of Israel. I wanted to get your thoughts on Israel and John Jones. I'm not so bothered about Paul Acosta because I think he beat him already by calling him a juiced up Ricky Martin balloon animal.
He does make lovely coffee though, doesn't he?
Yes.
We are at Costa most of the time.
Imagine if that was his side hustle.
They need to sponsor the Raptors.
Can you do
That's
this?
why he's
thing?
wearing that gold shirt. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm alright. I'm in this for fun. I've got the coffee
This
business.
is a shirt equivalent of a caramel macchiato. Chill out. But yeah, so I'm not really bothered about that fight, to be fair. I want to see John Jones, Israel.
Yeah.
I want to say Costa me. I want to see Costa knock him.
I like Costa, don't get me wrong, but I really want to see now that fight after what Izzy did at the weekend was fucking bananas. And to think that Anderson went up twice and he just ghosted James Irvin and Forrest, like Matrix style. I think it's not unthinkable.
It's
for
not
Israel to do it.
I just feel like Jones is too big for light heavyweight in compared to everybody else in the light heavyweight division. Like you stand Jones next to Shearer or any of those that like Serkinov, any of the like the regular size light heavyweights, he looks massive.
Yeah, but look at when you've got someone like Brock and Kane. Like the size discrepancy, difference between that was ginormous, and it was technique that smashed him to pieces.
True.
So I don't know. What do you think? Do you reckon it'll happen?
And the fact that Cain Velasquez loves a fight and Brock doesn't really.
No. Punch him in the face. No faces.
I need my Cain Velasquez luchador mask. Will you grab me that, please, Wad?
I think Jones beats him every time. Like,
yeah, I think so.
I really do. I do. I think, and
love to see it, though.
It's got the get out of jail free card as well. He can wrestle and control him, I think, as well, if he needs to.
Yeah.
Which I don't think
he's got a bit of weight on him.
So I had to get one of these in Mexico City.
You're about to put your tab off. You're about to be that one-eared fighter.
Check that out.
That's scary as fuck. If you're not watching this now, you're listening to it on the audio feed.
If you thought Dan was scary before, look at him now.
Mate, Roy Mysterio.
It's a bit sweaty smelling because I've been sleeping in it.
I'm glad you said that. It's not what Jimmy said.
You were talking about that with the belts, which is not true.
No, mate, I don't think any less of you thought.
I get body fluids all over my title belts. I like them too much. However, this
get a nice Pacino,
me, right?
Yeah, mate.
I'm feeling it.
He's freaking out.
Makes my full reptile gloves look.
You need to wear that in the town, like.
No, but let him look at you square on. He's got no nose and his eyes are dead close together. He's freaking it out. Oh man. That's a fucking.
This is my go-to.
I reckon you should answer the door to Amazon first. When they come to collect the TV, like
just
naked. Just with the Franks, just with the beans out. Larry, hi.
Gareth Ladd. Oh no,
a red and a green one.
Yeah. Glitter them up.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
No, this is good.
It's like Vajazzle but for the bollock.
Jazzy Nads. Jazzy Junk. Oh,
anyway,
glitter peas.
Glitter peas. Someone buy that domain now. Glitter peas for Jazzy Bollocks.
Before this gets even more out of hand, I'm going to bring it to a close. Thanks so much for coming and talking to us, man. We're going to send the Raptors up to see you again and have a bit of a catch up with the doco. But have a look at the doco that's on the YouTube channel. It is absolute gold. And we'll do a follow-up to that story soon to bring everything back up to date. But good luck with your fight. Thanks for joining us, Owen.
Cheers.
Nice one.
Good to see you as always, mate. Catch you next time.